Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Yeah, you know what it is. Hard worker, scrappy, unfiltered, and sometimes unhinged football content. Hard to explain, but you know it when you see it. Doing it daily our way. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Redraft and Dynasty Fantasy Football, we got you covered. You know their defense is ranked like 31st in the NFL? NFL draft prospects and rookies? Now you know you in the right place for that.
Absolutely.
All right, then stop saying it. Then we're done. And prop bets with my man JRich.
Count that money, man.
Now wipe the crust out of your eyes, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake your ass up with Ray G. You honestly are making absolutely no sense and you sound silly as hell. Good morning, 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 good people. It is Thursday, April the 21st, 2022. April the 21st, April 21st, 2022. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with Ray G, so I appreciate you being here. Thank you to our partners and friends, Prize Picks. Make sure you tap in. Use the promo code WAKEUP to get a 100% deposit match up to $100 if you are a first-time depositor. And make sure you check out the prop vet videos that me and JRich are posting after this show. They go up about an hour or so after the show is over. Had a decent night last night in the NBA. Joel Embiid. All of y'all, listen, I think the Joker is dope. Joel Embiid should be MVP. The best player in the NBA this season, Joel Embiid. Give the man the MVP. Trust the process. Give Big Nasty his due. Dude is balling, man. Game-winning three-pointer. That was a dope game to watch last night. But we got to talk some NFL today. We got to talk a little Deebo Samuel, talk about what the impact is for him requesting a trade out of San Francisco. We're going to tap into a lot of questions. We got some college football questions, some would you rather this player over the 2022 class questions. Jay, how are you doing this morning? And did you see Joel, big trust the process, knock down that three-pointer to win the game last night?
I did, yeah, I did. You know, I was watching the game. I think you're overstating just how bad that game really was, but what I will give you credit for is the redemption arc of Joel Embiid in Toronto is something I've never seen before. The dude was literally crying, walking out of the stadium in the tunnel, memed for 2 straight years, comes back, first game back in Toronto in the playoffs, and hits the dagger 3 to win the game. Incredible shot by Joel Embiid. MVP? I'm still on the Joker side.
MVP.
I'm still on the Joker side.
Valuable player in the NBA.
Regular season award.
Embiid.
So, take the playoffs out of it. Regular season award. That's all I'll say.
What's up, Joe? What's up, Joe? What's up, Joe? What's up? My bad, Jay. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Dynasty Barry in the chat. Marlon James, good morning to you. Dalton, AJ, Ty House, legendary in the building. Robert, what's up, big dog? Dana, Joe, as always, going on, girl. Johnny's in the building. Brenton, how you doing, man? Ayuk season, question mark? I don't know. Thirsty Thursday. We can't take Troy King's thing, man. He's the Thirsty Thursday king. We can't take that from Troy, but we are going to have some fun talking about some questions y'all all have this morning. Yes, thank you, Tom. Embiid, MV freaking P. Thank you. Now, Jay, let's not even play around. Let's just talk about it because it's all everybody is talking about right now. Deebo Samuel wants out of San Francisco. Open floor.
I mean,
what do you think?
Open floor. What is there really to talk about, Ray? I feel like more vindicated than ever. Yesterday, you asked me the question, what's going to happen with Deebo Samuel? I say he's going to be traded, right? So I can only assume that all these insiders are watching Wake Up because we were the ones that we broke this news, man. We broke the story when you really think about it. Everything that I said yesterday still holds true today. Nothing changed with what's going on. He's still not going to be a wide back. He still wants to play wide receiver. He still wants to get paid. That's the one thing actually that did come out that I do not believe. Do you really, and I'll ask you this question, do you believe that the 49ers are willing to pay him what he wants? Because I don't. Like he says, it's not about the money. I think that's a bunch of BS. Because yes, the money's important, but I think that I don't even think they're willing to get to a number he's happy with. And so when he said it's not about the money, I think in a lot of ways it is because you already see the reports that DK, AJ Brown, Deebo have the same agent. So they're going to try and get paid right around the same figure by their agent, right? outside of that, man, I still think he's gone. I don't see a resolution happening here. I don't think the 49ers want to pay him or want to use him. I think they'd run him into the ground this season, and so if he stays, he's probably in trouble. But that's just kind of how I feel the situation. I don't know if you feel differently about it, how you see it, and for me, I think it's potential suitors as well, like where they could even trade him to. Because I was pointing this out to my buddy yesterday. It's not like Debo has any say of where he goes. If they want to trade him to a bad franchise where he doesn't want to re-sign, there's nothing he can do about that, right? Like, so he's not Tyreek Hill where he can kind of have some say where he goes and get that extension. I think there's a world where San Francisco just wants to get rid of him for picks, and he goes somewhere he doesn't want to be extended, and he's just stuck there for a year. Then he has to decide what he wants to do from there.
You know, it's one of those things where I can see it from both sides of the fence, right? I can definitely. Here's the thing, man. There are people who are paid the same stuff that we talk about. The same stuff that we talk about, that the people in the chat, we discuss in dynasty leagues, right? About, I don't know if I really want to invest in Debo Samuel. I hate the way that he's used. It's his first healthy season since his senior season. Like, there are people who are paid millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're talking about the same thing, right? They're like, all right, he had a fantastic season, and a big part of that is because we utilized him out of the backfield, giving him these low A-dot touches. His air yard percentage was super low. Like, they know these things as well. And what I'm seeing, and this is, I don't know if it's fake news, real news, it's just what I'm seeing, is he wants to be paid like Tyreek Hill money. I think, Christian Kirk is getting about $18 million a year, up to like Diggs is around $24 million a year. He's got to be somewhere in that. I'm not paying him top wide receiver in NFL history money. There's no way. If I'm San Francisco, I would pay that for Debo Samuel. He's a phenomenal piece to that offense, and I understand that a big thing that made him so valuable this year was the fact that they used him in that wide back role. But I also understand Debo's point, and apparently he doesn't want to be used like that. And I get it. Like, we have an ability, man, to work until we're 60, 70 years old if we want to. These guys have a very small window in which they can maximize their earning potential, right? And the way to extend that is not to be treated as a running back, not to be run into the ground, not to have to out-yak and break tackles. Like, I would love to just run some 15-yard outs, catch the ball for 17 yards and step out of bounds, but that's not San Francisco's plan with Debo Samuel. So I can understand him saying, like, I don't want to do that shit again. We like to watch it. It's fun to watch. It's good to enjoy. Like, he's an exciting player. You can't deny it's fun to watch. But from his standpoint, like, I don't want to do that shit again. Like, we did that last year. Find a running back to run toss sweep. Stop doing it with me, right? Throw me the damn ball. But no, I don't think they're willing to pay him Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs level of money, nor after one season of production would I be willing to give him that. It just so happens that it's funny because unlike Lamar Jackson, who peaked early, he won that MVP in his second season in the NFL. And people
really his first full year, right?
His first full year, he wins MVP, and now 3 years after that, he wants a contract, and it's like, what have you done for me lately? Whereas Debo really didn't do anything early on, and then he peaked right at contract time. Good for him. I'm looking at what the Raiders traded for Adams. They gave up a first and a second. I'm not giving up a first rounder for Debo. I'm not doing that if I'm an NFL franchise. I'm not giving up a first round pick for Debo Samuel. If you're Kansas City, if you're Green Bay, would you do that? Like, would you do that? Because not only do you have to trade the pick, but then you have to pay him whatever he wants, right? So you're giving up a first round pick, and you have to extend that contract. You have to offer him a new deal. I don't know what's going to happen with this situation, man.
That's the issue, right? And so I'm glad you touched on that, because I did want to talk about the trade situation a little bit, but I think Debo may get to a point where he wants to play for a winning organization, and the contract extension that he wants isn't going to be there.
Let me just stop you right there. All of that playing to win, I want to go to he wants his money. I know he wants his money. That's first and foremost. He wants his money first and foremost.
Yeah, but you have to get it, right? I don't think we've established we don't think he's going to get the money because who's going to give it to him, right? And on top, so that's why I'm
I
saying
think
like I
he,
think he's going to be put into a situation where he's going to have to choose a franchise to play for, to win, to be in a good situation where he can thrive and ultimately try and get that contract because no one's going to pay him that. And on top of that, you
somebody will
brought
pay
up
him. I think somebody will pay him though. Like you're
if
saying,
Green, but
nobody will.
If Green Bay trades for him, they're not extending him. It's just not happening. If Kansas City trades for him, they're not extending him. Why would you trade for Deebo Samuel and not extend Tyreek Hill and trade him away? Like that doesn't make any sense because you're trading away a better player and still paying that same amount of money
I
for
get
a
it.
worse player. So that's why I think he's going to be put into a situation where he's going to want to be traded. Okay, no problem. We'll trade you. But where NFL franchises are going to run into situations like, okay, will he play for us if we don't want to extend him, right? We're trading for him because we think we have a window to win and we want him on our roster, but we don't have the money to extend him. So they're going to have to make that call and call Deebo and say, hey, Deebo, do you want to come play for us? Even though we can't offer you an extension, it just won't fit within our cap situation. And so I think that's the situation he's going to be in post draft, and if depending on how long this lingers, is that he wants his money. San Francisco's not going to give it to him, and it's like, okay, Deebo, will you play for a franchise who wants to win for a year, or do you want to sit out, protest, whatever the hell you want to do, and not play for San Francisco? I think that's the situation he's ultimately going to find himself in.
Yeah, I think he's in a. I'm just saying. I think somebody will pay him, man. I know you're saying that. Somebody will pay him. Somebody paid Christian Kirk, 18 mil a year. Somebody will pay
But
Debo.
I think that's a bad example though, and the reason why is because if Deebo wants to go rot in Jacksonville, sure,
I don't think
like he'll take $25 million a year.
You're talking about. I don't, dude. I'm telling you, I don't think he gives it. I don't. He wants it. He was a second round pick. He knows,
The
like in
third
his
round pick, wasn't it?
third round pick. I don't know. I think he was a second round pick. I don't think he gives a damn about what franchise, man. I think he wants his money. Doesn't matter. Jacksonville, Houston Texans, name the worst, the Cleveland Browns. They want their money. This is business, bro. Like, first and foremost, I don't give a shit if it's Jacksonville, Detroit, whomever. I'm 26 years old. I know that this could be the biggest earning potential contract I get in my career. I'm not thinking about what team gives me the best chance to win right now. I'm thinking about securing my financial future for myself and my family, and I don't care where that's at. He wants to get paid, man. And San Francisco can talk all that bull job. They offered him a deal, and the money is on the table. Something ain't adding up, right? I see
The
some
money
people
ain't
talking
there.
about.
There's no way the money's there. There's no way.
I don't know, man.
They're already paying a lot of guys, right? Like that D line is an expensive defensive line. They still have Jimmy G's contract. I mean, they're gonna dump it eventually, but they already got a lot. They already got a lot of money tied up. Again, I just don't know who's gonna trade for him. And again, like you're saying, they're gonna have to extend him probably
There's a bunch
if you
of
want to trade
teams
for him.
lined up. They're saying
But they're
Dallas,
winning teams, right? Like teams without money. Maybe Dallas can somehow make it happen. I don't know, but.
I'm going to start a swear jar. I'm trying to stop cursing. So I'm going to get a jar right here. And every time I say a bad word, I'm going to put $1 in it and give it away at the end of the month. How much money do you think would be in there?
Do I contribute to this? It took everything in my power to say BS.
You don't really,
everything in my power.
I would have just said bullshit, but you said BS. So there goes another one. I would have just, anyways, what are you doing with Debo? I thought he was the biggest. Well, now you can't. Now you can. I've been telling people to get out of him for months now. Like to me, it was a clear, like his first healthy season since his senior season. I'm out, man. And like now, I think you have to hold. If anything, it's in the opportunity where you might be able to get him for the low because people are panicking on the situation, him not being used in a wide back role. I mean, I think at this point you missed your sell window. I think you missed the sell window. But if he gets the big deal, if he gets traded, you'll have another opportunity, and I'm still out, right? Now, if somebody wants to panic and I just need to get out of Debo, I don't know what's going to happen, I'd be in the acquisition business, right? If you're panic selling, and there are some managers out there that are going to do dumb stuff and panic sell. Give me what would you rather have, the 112 this year or Debo Samuel?
I would take Debo, but I'm curious what that line would be for me. I don't think it's as high as it would be for other people. Like, even though Debo's price may go down a little bit, I still don't know if it's low enough to where I'd be willing to take the risk on, right? Like, someone's still maybe asking for a first and a second for Debo. I might be like, maybe like I'll think about it. It's probably fair, but I don't know if I want to make that selection overall, right? So 112, yeah. I mean, that's you're taking a guy who could easily be a wide receiver one, so it's definitely worth the pick there in that situation.
And I'm with Josh. He should get paid, not highest wide receiver paid. 49ers will get more of a Amari Cooper trade offer, though. Yikes. So what did Cooper get traded for? Like a fifth?
Like a 6th round pick, yeah. But he also, but I think that's actually a great example, right? Because he's not Tyreek Hill, he's not Devontae Adams. I think those were unique situations, right? The Raiders wanted Devontae, Carr wanted Devontae. Unique situation. Miami wanted Tyreek Hill, obviously pretty badly. So did the Jets, and were willing to pay him that money. I just don't know what team is out there who wants to trade what Debo would get in the trade market and pay him, right? Like, look at Amari Cooper. He has a $20 million cap hit, and he went for a 5th and 6th round pick and like a pick swap or something, just because Dallas wanted to get rid of him, get rid of the contract. I don't know where Debo sits with that, but I think that's really a big issue for him overall right now.
All right, let's get to some Q&A, man. Let's see what the people want to talk. What do they want to talk about? You got some questions pulled up. Where'd these come from? Twitter, YouTube? Where the hell did these questions come from?
These ones are all from Twitter. I looked at YouTube a little bit. There wasn't a ton on there, so I didn't go back to it this morning. But we'll start with an easy one, Ray.
All right.
Who do you want?
Softball me.
Who do you want? Michael Carter or Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Who asked this question, man?
FF Fanatic is who asked it. Fantasy Football Fanatic.
Michael Carter. I want no part
Michael
of
Carter.
Clyde.
Yikes. Okay.
I want no part of Clyde, man. I'm out.
Damn.
I'm out. I'm out on Carter. I mean, I'm out on Clyde, man. That had to have been the all-time worst rookie draft pick in the history of fantasy football. All-time worst pick was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. All time. Because
pretty bad. N'Keal Harry's up there too, though. So don't disrespect N'Keal Harry like that.
Here's the thing. N'Keal Harry is bad. But, man, you took Clyde at 101, 102 in 2020. JT, Swift, Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Like, you passed all those guys. Hands down, the worst rookie draft pick in the history of fantasy football was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Just got off.
Okay. Battle of the USC wide receivers. Michael Pittman, Drake London. Who you taking?
Right now, based on what I've seen in the NFL, I would rather
Come on, project a little bit. A little bit.
Okay, as prospects, I think Drake London's a better prospect than Michael Pittman. All right? I think Drake London's a better prospect than Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman just had 88 for 1,100. He had 88 for 1,100 in year 2. I'm projecting, and Josh Larkey, somebody who's real smart with the numbers that I trust, thinks that Pittman is due for 1,300, 1,350 this year. That's only 200 more yards with a better quarterback.
No, I'm looking at the comments. Just continue. But yeah, I don't know about 1,300. I have to project it out, but he
had 11 last year with Carson Wentz, man. Carson Wentz and a little bit of Sam Ellinger here and there.
He saw the volume, though. Wasn't he at like 130 targets last year?
They didn't bring anybody else in, bro. Like, they didn't bring anybody else in.
We'll see.
They got their first pick is in the second round. They're not going wide receiver.
Locked in Desmond Ridder, second round.
They're not going wide receiver top of the second. Man, I'd probably say Pittman. And I love Drake London. I'd probably, on a win now roster, I'd probably take Michael Pittman, but
who are you taking after year one?
Like London, but I don't like it. Yeah, I'd probably take Pittman, man. But damn, that was a hard one. I don't like it. I want London, but Pittman is probably the better option.
Okay, the next one should be easy. Rashad Bateman or Gabe Davis?
Well, hold on. Jay, slow down, man. Slow down.
Are you still talking about these guys?
I think that yes, man. Because, I mean, realistically, like, I'm asking you the question. Would you rather Drake London or Pittman? And let's think about, like, if you're projecting, if Drake London in year 2 does what Michael Pittman did in year 2, that's fantastic. But Pittman's already done it, man. He's already done it. He's still incredibly young, going into year 3 with a QB upgrade. I think you're trading known production, very good production, for what you hope Drake London can be. And I get it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if he hits, he should be better than Michael Pittman. But fuck, man, Pittman's pretty damn good, and I still think his value has not caught up. Like, the communities, really? I don't think people have. Let's go to our favorite site, man. Let's just
I
take a
think
look.
I think
Let's go
he's
to our
peaked
favorite
personally
site.
from a value perspective, or very
Okay.
close to it, because he's like wide receiver 14, 15, 16. He's right around there, at least from what I've seen. And so, what I would ask you the question of is, do you think that Drake London has a higher value ceiling? Because being, a top 15 pick in the NFL draft,
Yeah.
comes out, might have a 1,000-yard season right out the gate, 800, 900 yards. We'll see. I'm not trying to over project here, but it's definitely possible from what we've seen in recent histories from these top wide receivers. And so, as a straight up trade, yeah, I would take Michael Pittman. But I think if you could maybe get a little bit of value attached to that, like you're trading Michael Pittman for the 104 and then something a little bit, I think there is some value to be had, because I think that Drake London does have a slightly higher value ceiling. And I do believe in him, right? I think he's going to go to a great situation, get the targets, and then ultimately have a high value ceiling, potentially higher than one Michael Pittman.
Wide receiver 16 on Keep Trade Cut. And I'm just going to give you a couple of wide receivers ahead of him. Do you think he's got any shot this year to surpass them? Devontae Smith, Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, DK, Debo Samuel, Jalen Waddle. Does he have any shot of cracking inside of those guys?
Maybe Deontay, is the one guy that sticks out because people don't like him, right? Like, they just don't. So I think there's maybe a chink in the armor there. Outside of that, maybe Waddle, but I don't think so. I think the Miami offense is going to be good. DJ Moore, I don't know. Maybe people still love DJ Moore, right?
Devonta Smith?
Potentially.
Yeah,
But I still think
there's a
again,
chance,
it's the first round versus second round, right? Everyone will still remember Devontae Smith as the 9th overall pick or the 10th overall pick, versus Pittman, who was like 34 overall, right? And I think that does factor into evaluation a little bit.
Okay, sorry. I think people are not, for some reason, I don't know if it's because he's in Indy, they're not all the way on the Michael Pittman train, and I am on that bitch rolling, man. I am on the, excuse my, damn it.
Put one in the jar. Put one in the jar.
Three and 3 seconds. I'm like Karl Anthony Towns with fouls, man. I'll just cuss 3 times in like 4 seconds. All right, go ahead.
So back to our next question. It was Rashad Bateman or Gabe Davis.
Oh, come on, man. Next question. Get Rashad Bateman.
How many wide receivers in the 22 class would you take ahead of Rashad Bateman in Dynasty?
Well, if you go to patreon.com/allgas, you can get my cornerstone rankings, and I do just that. So let's take a look. How many 2022 wide receivers ahead of Rashad Bateman?
You probably got 3, maybe 4.
I have...
Probably the whole tier 1.
Yeah.
You're predictable that way.
Okay. Yeah.
You got tier 1 2021, then tier 1 of 2022, and then Rashad Bateman right behind them. Is exactly probably how it would go.
I got a lot of them. Garrett Wilson, Treylon, Drake London, Jameson Williams. Yeah, I'd take a lot of those guys over Rashad Bateman. For
you, it's tier 1 wide receivers. So it'd be Drake, Garrett, what is it?
Treylon, J-Mo.
Treylon and J-Mo, yeah.
Yeah, those 4.
Okay, so now let's change gears a little bit and talk Kayshon Boutte, because everyone wants to talk about Kayshon Boutte.
Who is Kayshon Boutte? Who is that? For those who don't know who the hell he is.
He is the former LSU wide receiver, technically still on LSU, but I mean, he's probably going to transfer, right? People not really sure where he's at.
He ain't playing for LSU this year.
Didn't even know who Kayshon Boutte was, and there's some friction there, so people expect him to transfer. But Kayshon Boutte, spectacular freshman season. Yeah. Didn't really play it last year. He got hurt though, right? Didn't he tear his Achilles or Liz Frank injury? He had a serious injury.
They said it was an ankle, and then he's had multiple surgeries. Nobody knows. But go ahead. Dope wide receiver 2023, wide receiver 2 in the class right now.
Where does he rank compared to others in this class for you? Where are you at with Kayshon, and would you put him with these receivers if he was coming out or, kind of project in that sense? He's not Jackson Smith and Jigba, but he's probably a little bit below him. But I know we talked about this in the Discord. He needs to play a little bit. Like, he's not Jamar Chase levels of a player. I think he's almost kind of going down that Derek Stingley path where he had a spectacular freshman season, and we haven't really seen a ton from him since. And so it's kind of like, how can he get that value back? But where are you at with Boutte, and kind of how do you feel about him maybe compared to the receivers in this class?
It's hard for me to remove the bias because I don't think he's going to play for LSU this year. And I think Matt Bruning said he has until like next week or it's the end of this week to make a decision on if he's going to transfer. I don't think he's good enough to sit out again, to play like 1.5 seasons and still be a top pick. Right now, because I have not updated my cornerstone rankings and won't do that until after the draft, but he's right inside of, like, as a prospect from what he did as a true freshman, like ranking them wise, he's right up there with Traylon, J-Mo, Garrett Wilson. If he doesn't play this year, man, I don't know, man. Like, he has to play. He did not do enough as a true freshman to just waltz into the NFL draft process and be a top pick. He didn't do enough. If he doesn't play this year, I think it's going to be, and this is the issue with 2023. Everybody's talking about the 2023 class. The wide receiver group is weak. It's very good at the top end and very mediocre in the middle. If Boutte doesn't play, it gets even worse. And we talked about the strength of classes being running backs and quarterbacks. The strength of 2023 is not wide receiver at all. That is not the strength of that class. Right now, if I'm just basing it on him not playing, he'd probably be in that Sky Moore, Jahan Dotson, Christian Watson territory.
Yes.
In 2022. That's probably where he would end up being.
I think that's a really good comp to George Pickens, actually. As you were kind of talking through that, I think if Pickens didn't play for basically 2 years, which, you know, in some ways he didn't with how little he was used, I think that's kind of where I would be at from a value perspective, is because, again, the talent was there year one. We saw it. Then he had a really bad freshman or sophomore season, kind of like Boutte did. And then he got hurt. Ultimately did come back and play, though. But I think, to your point, if Boutte doesn't play, that's a bit of a problem. For his value, because we need to see something from him to remind us, you know, where he's at in his development, how he's playing, and more importantly, just to get him on the field because he hasn't done anything in so long.
Yeah, Mike A says sounds like he's preparing to play, so we'll see. Hopefully, if he plays, he's still locked in, wide receiver 2 in that class. Him and Jackson Smith and Jigba would be the clear-cut top guys in that class. So, good question, man. I'm just interested to see what happens with Boutte.
So the next question is Christian McCaffrey or the 107 and 108 in this rookie draft?
What? Ask again?
Christian McCaffrey or the 107 and 108 in the rookie draft?
All right, so I'm pulling up our ADP right now. 107 in Superflex is Matt Corral. 108 is Isaiah Spiller. In single quarterback, our ADP, let's see, because I got to show love to the single quarterback folks. Yeah, man, it's
George Pickens, Chris Olave.
Yeah, I'd rather have Christian McCaffrey. I'd rather have CMC. I'd rather have CMC.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather.
Yeah,
have
I think
CMC.
I'm on that side.
Yeah,
I think I'm fine with that.
CMC.
But 2 first isn't bad.
It's not bad. It is bad if it's Corral and Spiller. It is bad for Christian McCaffrey. It's CMC. It's if he's healthy, man, he's the only running back that can not just rival Jonathan Taylor, but like be the clear-cut RB1 on the season. It's Christian McCaffrey. Easy.
Okay, so next trade that we got was the 109 and 210 for Ronald Jones and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I guess pretty much the Kansas City backfield. Would you trade the 109 for the Kansas City backfield? Because we both don't really care much for the 210. Where are you at with those guys?
What do we do? Like, why would you do that?
Maybe you just like Rojo. Maybe you're a truther. I don't know. The one we were. Do you know how many people have DM'd me being like, "Oh, I made this trade. What do you think? You guys are all about selling the 22 class."
Jay,
and I'm like, "That's a bad trade. You shouldn't do that."
Did you screen these before, or did you just pull the first shit that hit the inbox? How did you find these? Where did you get these from?
People just ask questions. They're curious about what I think of a move.
Okay? Well, what do you think? What do you? I'm gonna let you answer this question.
I would take the 109 because I think I can get something out of it. I'm not expecting much from Rojo and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Personally, I think there's still a guy who could be added to this backfield in Kansas City. And to be honest, I don't want anybody in the Kansas City backfield. They're not any good. They don't use them effectively, and they don't use them often. They rotate guys. It's not a good situation. If I get Isaiah Spiller there at 109, Chris Olave or George Pickens in single quarterback, I'm fine with that.
Give me Sky Moore. Give me Jahan Dotson. Give me Christian Watson. Give me Desmond Ridder if he's a first-round pick. Give me Pickens. Give me Olave. Give me Pickett. Give me J-Mo. Those are all the people that are going 1-9 and below, according to our Superflex ADP. I'll say this. I do think Ronald Jones is a chance to be sneaky, low-key good this year. I know it's dirty. I know it's gross. I think he's got a chance to be sneaky good on the ground. I really do. I really do. I think he has a chance to. I think he's a better running back than Clyde. Like, Clyde's got better hands. I think he's a better running back. Like, turnaround, handball, run ball. I think Ronald Jones is better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. right? If they don't draft a running back, two of them scrubs, somebody's got to run the ball. There's no Darrell Williams. There's no Darwin Thompson. There's no Jerick McKinnon. Somebody's got to run the ball. Somebody. And no Tyreek Hill. I think Rojo has a shot to be sneaky. I'm not advocating go out there and buy and trade 109s for him. I just think he's got a shot to be sneaky good this year. Like in best ball leagues, I have no problem taking a shot on Ronald Jones to just get ball, run fast in a straight line, score some touchdowns, rip off some long runs. Like that's never been his issue. Like if we're keeping it real, his issue has never been running the ball. It's holding on to it. It's catching it. It's protecting the quarterback. But I ask you this question, man. All the shit that's coming out with Tom, damn it, another cuss word, another dollar in the jar, 2 cuss words in 2 seconds. Jar is filling up already. All the things that are coming out with Tom Brady not wanting to play with Bruce Arians, I just wonder how much, he just got in BA's doghouse early and that was it. Like he was just done with him after that, right?
He was always in the doghouse, it seemed like it, right?
He's in the doghouse
fumbling, missing
from the
pass
jump,
protection,
right?
Could never get on the field because of that.
Again, I think he could be better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. No, you don't trade the 109 for either of those guys, though.
Okay, so we had a question about the 24 class, and I kind of reworked it a little bit because I know that you don't want to talk about them in kind of a superlative fashion, ranking all these kind of things. But who are your favorite guys that you've seen so far? I know it's easy to say Travion Henderson, Xavier Worthy, but who are some other guys that you've watched from last season and kind of looking for more in their sophomore campaign, breakouts, those kinds of things? Just some kind of names of guys that people can know heading into the college season, spring games, and all those kinds of things as in regards to the 24 class, and kind of just your thoughts on it overall.
Man, the running backs are just so good. Man. Yes, everybody knows Travion Henderson, but I don't know how many people are aware of how good Will Shipley is, the running back out of Clemson. He's a white running back, so the Christian McCaffrey comps will be fluid throughout his process, but he's really good on the ground and through the air, tons of speed. Braylon Allen, I looked at he played his entire year, 1,200 rushing yards in the Big Ten at 17 years old. He's 6'2". What's Braylon Allen? 6'2", 230? 6'2", 220 something? At 17. He's going to play his entire rookie season in the NFL. If he leaves after his junior year, he will play his entire rookie year at 20 years old. His birthday's not until January. So you're getting somebody that is just ridiculously young, ridiculously good. But I think a big breakout star this year is going to be Donovan Edwards, the running back out of Michigan. Just dual threat, man. Can catch the ball, run the ball. I think he's going to continue to boom. You're going to see Quinn Ewers out of Texas get a chance, hopefully, to start.
You think so?
Play. Yeah, Quinn is good.
It sounds like, well, he's good, but it sounds like he's not guaranteed the job like we kind of thought.
College is different than the NFL. They could start whoever they want, and then by week 3, Quinn Ewers is taking over. But the 24 class is dope. Like, it's loaded. Of course, Brock Bowers, Caleb Williams at USC is going to smash the Pac-12. It's going to be fun, man. There are some really good sophomores that I'm very, very excited about. But that running back class of Henderson, Shipley, Braylon Allen, Donovan Edwards, Raheem Rocket Sanders, you got 5 guys that are really, really talented in 2024. The wide receivers still got to shake out a little bit at the wide receiver ranks. Yes, you've got Xavier Worthy and Ja'Cory Brooks, Deion Smith, Christian Leary, Mario Williams, Troy Franklin, Ajay Hall, Emeka Mbuka. Like, it's Marvin Harrison Jr., It's just awesome. Like 2024 is loaded. I cannot freaking wait. It's awesome.
Okay, great. Well, there you go. A bunch of names to watch on college. And yeah, like people are talking about Ajay Hall now on the Longhorns, right? So we'll see. I'm sure Longhorn hype will be out of control with Bijan and Quinn and now Ajay Hall, Xavier Worthy. It's like,
can I just answer this real quick? Blake, I'm so done with 2022. I'm so over it. I cannot. As soon as the clock strikes 0 on, the draft, we move on to 23, 24. Yes, we'll continue to talk about the rookies and how they fit in with their respective teams, but I am over the 2022 class.
Yeah, so am I, to be honest. So let's switch gears here, Ray.
Yeah.
I need to tell you who this question is from so you can properly answer it. It's from Rico. He wants to know what your Lakers do with Russell Westbrook this offseason.
Oh,
keep, trade, cut. What do you think they do? Where are you at with Russell Westbrook, and kind of how do you feel about the situation overall?
I don't know why Rico's messing with me. I
He
almost said the F
asks
word.
the most ridiculous questions every time we have Q&A.
I don't know, Rico. Not good. He's not going to be on the Lakers next year. The Lakers are in shambles, but I will say the show Winning Time is actually really good. If you have not watched Winning
Oh, is
Time,
it?
I was very hesitant to dive into that on HBO. Do you know what HBO Max stands for? Do you know like
No,
HBO Max?
I think I heard of it once.
Like you've heard, like I thought it was like HBO like Maximum, like you just get more shit in HBO Max, but it's a
Okay.
combination of HBO and Cinemax. I didn't know that until like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Winning
The
Time
more
is
you
good.
know, I guess.
The
Yeah,
Winning Time is
who is
good.
it? Jerry West is suing. He's suing HBO for that, right? Which is hilarious.
Best thing to happen for that show was Jerry West getting pissed off over his depiction because they said like viewership is increased by like 10 times since he said that. But
No
Winning
way.
Time is actually really good. To answer Rico's question, they're not gonna have he's not gonna be on the Lakers. Super chat from Matt Bruning, first time, long time. Ewers or Caleb, and why? Matt's going to say Quinn Ewers, but I would rather have – I'm still in on the Caleb Williams train.
Yep.
The dual threat capability, I think he's going to smash in the Pac-12 this year. They're both Tier 1 guys. They're Tier 1. But if you ask me right now, I've got to pick one to operate my dynasty route, hinge my dynasty future on. It would be Caleb Williams. And just as much as you're an Ohio State homer, Bruning, I am a USC homer as well. So I would go with Caleb Williams over Quinn Ewers, but that could change very early in the season. Go ahead, big dog.
So the next question, unfortunately, back to 2022, and it's talking about Sam Howell. Sam Howell, QB2, QB3, depending on where you looked coming into the season. But now it seems he's QB5, QB6, potentially even further than that. So where are you at with Sam Howell? What do you think the reason is for the drop? We talked about Sam Howell a ton, and the reason people want to use the excuse about all the players he lost. I don't think that's a very good one personally, Ray. I don't know where you're at with that. But just kind of talk about what you saw from Sam Howell this season and why you think he's not viewed as highly as he was kind of coming into the season, and just kind of your situation in North Carolina and about that.
Bro, I'm sorry, Jay. Like, I had the comments, like I was not looking at them. I was just kind of clicking the button, and I look left, and the first thing I see is Jasmine say Rico strong, and then I almost lost it. The first thing I see is damn Jasmine pop in with Rico strong. Yeah, Mike said it. I hate the Howell losing weapons excuse. I think it is an excuse. I don't know, man.
It's not a good one, man.
If he gets the draft capital, it matters to some degree, right? Because he does have the rushing capability. He's a lot better runner than people give him credit for. Like I think his numbers are right on par with Malik Willis, and we hail Malik as this game-changing weapon because he can run the ball. So give Sam Howell that same due, right? We called him for a long time, or I called him for a long time, Josh Allen light, like a light version, smaller, bite-sized version of Josh Allen. As we continue to go through this, man, and what I want to look into, and Josh Larkey and I talked about it on the FTN Fantasy Football podcast, distribution from the quarterback and how QBs spread the ball around early in their career, and that maybe being, I don't want to say predictive, but give you a good indication on how QBs can process and maybe how they transition to the next level. Sam Howell did that as a freshman. You go back and look at his freshman profile, it was great. And then he had a good year too. And then when he did lose everybody, it kind of went down, but from everything that he lost through the air, he regained that on the ground. Like he had to do more on his own. As we go through this, and maybe I'm just fatigued and maybe I'm just grasping at straws here, but I'm inching back in on this. Like, if you want to take Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis, like, and I can get Sam Howell at 201 at 112, I'm okay with it, man. Like, I'm okay with it. So the more it goes on, I think I'm a little more in on Sam Howell. I don't know if that answered your question. I don't know if that was the question, but I'm kind of in on Sam Howell, bro.
Yeah, so, I mean, it is what it is. And Super Chat here, price difference between Elijah Moore, I'm assuming that's Elijah Moore, and Stephon Diggs. Where are you at with these two guys? I think it'd be a pretty clean swap in a lot of leagues. Maybe Diggs with a little bit more value. But there's people who love Elijah Moore, and there's people who just don't want Stephon Diggs because he's old.
Yeah.
who would you take in a straight up deal, and what would you need kind of on top of that to make that deal happen?
Man, I would rather Diggs, especially if I'm trying to win. I mean, Diggs is going to outproduce Elijah Moore. I mean, the Jets are telling you, right? I love Elijah, but I'd rather Stephon Diggs. Price difference, I'm not sure where they're going around ADP. It's got to be fairly close ADP wise between those two. If you're trying to win and go get it now in the next 2 to 3 years, you want Stephon Diggs. If you're thinking 5 years from now, then go with Elijah Moore. But we talked about this all the time. What's the chances that you even have him on your damn roster 5 years from now, 7 years from now? Probably slim to none. I'm operating 2 to 3 year windows. That's all I give a damn about. Like 2 to 3 years, give me Stephon Diggs over Elijah Moore. ADP wise, I don't know what the difference is.
So apparently on Keep Trade Cut, Stephon Diggs is 33 overall, wide receiver 11, and Elijah Moore is wide receiver 18 at 50 overall. So you can maybe get some value if you do want to trade down from Diggs to Elijah Moore, which is not terrible. But I think I'd still want Diggs. We did that wide receiver show not too long ago, and we talked about how Diggs is kind of an undervalued asset because you're getting the longevity, and that was before he had the contract extension. So I think that Diggs is a safe asset now tied to Josh Allen, and we know he's going to be the primary target there probably for at least the next 3 years. And like you talked about, outproduce Elijah Moore overall. So I think I would roll with Diggs pretty easily. It just depends on what that cost difference is overall. But if you're only paying like a second round pick to kind of upgrade, I think it's probably a pretty decent deal.
103 and 105 or 101. Would you rather, let's just assume super flex, would you rather Kenneth Walker, Malik Willis, and Garrett Wilson, Drake London, or Breece Hall? If I knew that 103 was Kenneth Walker and then 105 was one of the receivers that I liked, I'd probably take that. If you can't assure yourself Walker at 103, I don't know if, 103 and 105 is fine, but do you really want to pass on Breece Hall is the question. Are you okay missing out on Breece?
I think I am, yeah. I think I would love to have Breece, but I think I'd be okay to miss out if that's the situation we're looking at here and this is what you're getting. Like, that's still a lot of draft capital, whether you like it or not. Yeah. Like, as much as I love Breece, he's still only one guy, right? And if I can get two guys that can help my team overall more, and maybe that's a situation that works better for me, I would consider it. It's not one that I'm necessarily going to be making 10 times out of 10, but again, if you need the assets and your team's really bad, it's not a bad trade overall and can probably help you in the long run. Just you don't have that ceiling that we view from Breece from a value and a production perspective.
I have 6 2023 seconds. Class deep enough to be worth it? Hell yes. Hell yes. Josh Downs, Jaheim Bell, Tank Bigsby, Zach Charbonnet, Jermaine Burton, Zay Flowers, Levis, Quentin Johnson, Devon Achane, Blake Corum, Jace McClellan, Jaden Daniels, Grayson McCall, Phil Jerkovich, Parker Washington, Deuce Vaughn, Jalen Wally, Hendon Hooker, Theo Johnson, Chris Tyree, Jaden Reed, KJ Jefferson, Kendall Milton. Yes, the class, Marshawn Lloyd. Yes, Jalen McMillan. The class is good enough for those seconds to be worth it. Yes, you're gonna be in good shape, big dog. You're gonna be in good shape. What else we got, Jake?
All right, last question is about Devontae Smith. And so this gentleman has the 103, the 101, the 103, and the 105, and looking to acquire a young, proven wide receiver rather than draft one. What would you trade to get Devontae Smith with the 101, the 103, and the 105?
So is he asking to trade away one of those picks to get Devontae Smith?
Yes.
I wouldn't trade the 101. I'm not trading Breece Hall for him, right? I wouldn't trade Breece. I would trade 105 straight up for him. Like if I had the 105, like here, you can have my 105 and I'll take Devonta Smith. Like I don't think you have to trade 103. I think 105 should get it done.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think I'd want to trade the 103, but if 105 can get it done, maybe 105 in a second, I'd be willing to make that move overall. And I like that for Devonta Smith because, like you talked about, I would rather take Devonta Smith over one of these receivers who he would have been ranked ahead of them, drafted ahead of them, all those things in all these drafts. So that's the last question, though. That's it for the Q&A. I don't know if anyone has any more questions in the chat. We missed any super chats. But I know I saw one about the 101 versus CeeDee Lamb.
One from Hans. We had one from Hans Purell in the build. Purell in the goddamn building, man. Post a question on Twitter. I can't read. Posted question on Twitter. Post Jose new to Dynasty.
Okay,
Jay,
hold on.
Check the Twitter from Purell. And if we can get a sponsorship deal to wash our hands, keep them clean. I always keep the Purell nearby just in case. Just you never know when those hands get a little filthy. You
So
gotta clean
he's
them up.
saying he's got the first pick overall, traded first three picks. What? Traded my first 3 picks, rounds 1 through 3, and my 9th rounder. And now I have 2 extra firsts next year in 23. Startup draft. I have 205, 2 extra 4th, 5ths, 1 extra 6th, all in the middle rounds. Did I do good or? Sounds like he traded all of his first round picks for middle of the road picks in a startup draft.
All right.
It sounds like.
Hand sanitizer. We appreciate the super chat. We literally have no clue what you're asking. Jay cannot get it to me. I don't know what's going on. Jay, answer his question. This is your money. This is your super chat. Answer the question.
So I think from what I'm taking from this is that he basically traded his first 3 round picks in a startup draft, and he's just getting assets in the middle rounds. I don't hate that strategy, but if it's a super flex draft where you're going to miss out is on the quarterbacks, right? We want high-end quarterbacks, and that's the anchor of your roster. And so that's where your team will really fall apart. He's saying, how should he attack? He wants to go 23, 25-year-olds, which is fine. Yeah. But drafting a QB, he's saying he's going to draft a QB wide receiver next year. That's not going to pay off for you more than likely. You need to have a top 10 quarterback to compete. And if you're hoping CJ Stroud or Bryce Young is a top 10 quarterback, it's just the chances are so slim with how good they are. So I think you did okay from a talent perspective, but you need to start moving some of those assets back up for quarterbacks, or else your team's just not going to be good enough. It will be deep, but it won't be good enough to actually compete overall, in my opinion.
Good job, Jordan. Real quick, before we get out of here, somebody stop, Marlon. I'm seeing. All right, it's TMZ time. Fake news. GQ coming to report.
Oh, let's go.
Let's get it, baby. What are your thoughts on the reports that Trey Lance, like I saw some people saying like Debo doesn't want to play with Lance. They know he's not that good. Where are you at with Trey Lance? Because right now he's being valued as a top 10 quarterback. Where are you at with him? Appreciate the question, hand sanitizer. We do love you. We just gotta shorten those questions just a tad bit so we're not the best at public reading off of a prompter, so just gotta give it to us. I like it. Let me stop. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So one, Trey Lance is overvalued by a lot, not a little bit, by a lot. I understand the ceiling, but when you're drafting a guy at his ceiling, I'm not in on that. You know, I've told you guys we did startup drafts. I passed on Trey Lance for Jamar Chase, and I told you I was happy to do it, and I would do it again. But for me, I could be. I mean, look at what Mike Zimmer said. Why would I play him in the game about Kellen Mond? I see him every day in practice. Debo sees Trey Lance every day in practice. Would I be shocked? No, I would not be shocked.
If he was bad?
I've told you this before. I told you this about Christian Watson. I don't trust some of these guys coming from FCS to the NFL, especially quarterbacks. Could he be Carson Wentz? Sure. Does anyone want Carson Wentz right now? No, they don't. So again, where are you really at with Trey Lance? Does he hate him? Probably not. Does he want to play with him? I could see him wanting to play with a better quarterback. Yes. I don't think that's ridiculous to say.
What do you I was not about to say that. What do you think about this? Waddle or Pittman in the 203? So Pittman and Dotson.
I think I'm fine with Pittman. I think I'm fine with it. I don't love it. I like Waddle more, but I think I'm fine with it.
Why do you like Waddle more? I'm just asking. Why? I know he.
I just like him.
Yeah,
I just like him, man. I just
like
him. But the production is probably on the Pittman side. That's why I'm willing to concede. But again, also, we have to factor in Tyreek Hill is going to command a lot of coverage, right? Yeah, so I think Waddle's going to see a lot of single coverage. So
wide receiver
you never know.
6. Wide receiver 6.
Yo, Keep Trade has to update their rankings. We gotta do something about that.
Wide receiver 6.
That's wild.
This
but
is what y'all
I'm not taking a wide receiver 6.
I think it's even, man. It may not sound like attractive, but I think it's kind of even. Like if
take the pick because the production is probably right level, honestly.
Well, if I told you that 203 was Jahan Dotson, so Michael Pittman and Jahan Dotson, Michael Pittman and Sky Moore for Jalen Waddle, I think it's pretty even, man. Like it may not sound great, and you may want Waddle, and I'd be fine with Waddle, but I think it's pretty even. All right, we got one more from Joey Crack, Fat Joe in the building. New York, stand up. Oh, we got another one because we got another super chat. How do you know when it's time to give up on a player? How do you finally call a jag? My roster, man, this is such a damn good question because I think so many times we try to hold on to stuff, man, and like, buy low, this is the season. Buy low, this is the season. I give a lot of players a year one rookie pass, right? Like, not everybody fires after their second season. But by year two, if you were a high-end asset, like if you were a first-round pick, if you were the team's first selection, by year two, if you ain't showing it early in year two, I'm out. Like, I think that's it. I think whatever, like, because it's only going to go downhill from there. I think this is the biggest kind of edge in Dynasty, is knowing when to like be like, I'm done, right? Like Laviska Shenault. Like, going into year two, Laviska still had hype, right? He still had hype. If you held that bag through year two, now you're sitting with him on your roster, and literally you're crossing your fingers, your toes, your eyes, your arms, and you're like, please be good. Like, I think by year two, you kind of know if a player's going to be a dude or if he's going to be just a guy. And if you see that trend happening, like, who's the next Jag? Is it Brandon Ayuk? Like, we're talking about him. He's going into year three. Is Brandon Ayuk somebody right now? Like, if Debo gets dealt, you probably should be capitalizing and cashing out on that Ayuk value right then and there. Bateman, if I know he was hurt all last year, but if Bateman doesn't show, like, I'm the guy in this offense this season, I like him. I liked him out of Minnesota. I probably would be like, all right,
target volume ain't there.
Yeah, I probably need to move on, man. And a lot of people don't want to hear that shit because everybody is a sleeper, and I still believe in the guy. I still believe. We still believed in Clyde going through year two. Like, we were still believing in that shit. And now look at where we're at. Like, you literally have nothing. Clyde, nothing. Rager, nothing. Ayuk, still fringy. Jerry Jeudy, you better do it with Russell Wilson. He better do it with Russell Wilson, or he's just a guy, or he's just a wide receiver. Laviska, just a guy. Like, I think by year two, you're going to know real quick whether the dude is a dude or he's not.
Yeah, 100%. And Ray, just to kind of add to that a little bit, what I would do if I were you guys listening at home, watching, I would make sure you tap into Wake Up with Ray G, because we're going to tell you who's good and who's not every single week. We're going to be here for you, baby. And when I say Trevor Lawrence stinks, I don't mean he stinks. He's just a little bit overvalued. That's all.
All right, rebuilding an orphan superflex team. I have 107, 203 through 205, 208, 210. He has the entire second round. What do I do with those dookie seconds? 203 to 205, you make those selections unless you get an offer to trade out for a future first, which I think you can get depending on some of these landing spots. I think somebody, you're sitting at 204 and Christian Watson is there. They're like, dude, I'll give you a first rounder for Christian Watson. I'd sell. 208, there'll be some random-ass player there that everybody wants. Zamir White landed in New Orleans, and they want Zamir White, and they'll give you a 24 first-rounder for – I'd trade any of those. I honestly would trade 203 through 212 for any future first-round pick, and I know it seems crazy, but I promise you'll be able to get that done. I would 100%. At that range, I'm looking to move all that shit for future first-rounders. Easy trade. Joey Crack back in the building. Sobering and sage wisdom. Salute to you, my guy. Real talk. Ray, bro, you need to drop some knowledge on me. Rookie draft, Algier or Ford? Neither. Is that about it? Is that it? Yes.
That's it.
We're out. Yeah. Bruning said package those seconds for a first. I guarantee you could do one for one on the legit thing. You can do one for one. But we appreciate y'all tapping in. Draft week next week. We got the NFL draft next week. Next week, it's fake news. From Monday through fucking Thursday, it's fake news. We are just rumors, looking at mocks, figuring out what's going on. We'll do our final sort of prediction, I guess.
Some my guys, probably.
My guys, stuff like that. And then, remember, I'm going 5 days. Jay is he's skipping out on me on Friday, but I will be here with y'all Friday morning to talk about the first round of the draft. We will have an NFL draft stream Thursday and Friday of next week. During the draft, we'll be putting it on in the back, all of that stuff. It'll be fun. So make sure you tap in, get some rest. It's going to be a crazy-ass week. Smash the like button, subscribe. Have a fantastic effing weekend. I'll have the swear jar ready, and we'll start collecting that money, baby. We love y'all. We out. Peace.